my views are different from somebody being raised at a different maybe country, a different part of the country, obviously, different community, different heritage, different background. So we all have our world views that come from different upbringings, but we cannot force our upbringing. I mean, our world views on others because we didn't have the upbringing they had, and we didn't have the experiences that they had. So this is something you learn, I guess, with age. For me, it's maturity. Hey everybody, we're back in the daily videos here. A little bit, obviously a little bit later today, but the schedule has shifted upside down because of what's going on. And as you know, we want to be tested every day. If you want to be changing your mindset and truly want to be changed, you have to actually practice what you preach. So as I sit here and I see that everything is changing, my normal routine from, really producing the content during the day when the kids were in school, and eventually editing, and then after the kids would come from school, I would basically post the videos because obviously when they were here, I wouldn't be able to make the videos. I could, but if you see some of my videos, a lot of the loud noise is from them. So in order to avoid that, I would make the videos earlier. But now that they're home for the next couple of weeks, it's been a little bit of a challenge. But it's easy for me to make the excuse. It's easy for me to stop my intentions, my visions, which was for me to make daily videos and to share my growth and share my insights or whatever I'm learning, I'm reading up on, and hopefully in the process let you guys on the other side, ladies and gentlemen as well, to pick and choose what you like and grow together. Maybe just have different views, and I am a big believer of accepting each other's views, and although we might not agree on everything, respecting each other's views is very important. And one of the things that I learned from a lot of the leaders that are obviously great leaders in the world is that they're very open-minded. They don't necessarily agree with certain things, but they accept and they learn, and they in a way they kind of basically don't let it bother them, but they don't go against other views as well. They just feel that everybody is obviously entitled to their own opinions and views. In this world, all of us don't know who's actually right or wrong. End of the day, everybody's entitled to their opinions, right? But being said, it's a great time for me to share a quick insight for Lynchpin, where Seth Godin is talking about in this chapter. He's definitely mentioning the how a linchpin truly is a linchpin, right? And it couldn't be better. I don't know if it's a coincidence that I'm reading this book right now, and it happened to be that what's going on right now, all this, the virus, the pandemic, all these things that are happening, are gonna test a lot of us, a lot, and I mean a lot. It's gonna require a lot of really self-awareness, which I've been practicing, a lot of acceptance of whatever it is, a lot of adapting. As my friends over at Moya Apparel, they always encourage that on Instagram. Adapting to a situation. Every day we confronting with a situation, and the difference between whether we look at it as a positive or negative is basically of us adapting to it. And Seth Godin talks about here real quick on there's three things that maybe one second real quick. There's three things that a linchpin or an individual that stands out and takes matters in his own hands has to kind of I would say embody, right? And first is seeing, discernment, and what we talked about earlier, pranja. And in seeing, he's talking about being able to see the world not only as we see it, but as others see it. As um, he gives an example like when you're gonna interview somebody for a job, you're not interviewing the person as an interviewer or just the interviewee, but as the also the individual that uh, is is the owner of the company, right? So not only are you interviewing the person as for the job itself, but for what you feel that is gonna change the position itself. So he's talking about seeing the world in not only your eyes, but in a lot of different perspective, worldviews, and not just being stuck on our own views, which a lot of us are. Obviously, it's just human nature. A lot of individuals get stuck with one view, and they think that's the world supposed to be that way. It's like there's no other way but our way, and now in these times that are especially now what's going on right now, if we get stuck on that, we're gonna get left behind because things are changing every day. Nothing stays the same, as we know. Um, Quick example right now, we're going through right now, a lot of changes. Right, the virus is kind of shutting cities down. The governments are forcing us to stay home. Kids have no school. Um, uh, People being forced to work from home, and it's gonna take a lot of people getting accustomed to this being the new norm for the meantime. Um, it could go back. Hold on one second. Sorry, that was a door. Adapting. It could go back to obviously go back to what we were used to and what we're kind of been used to for the last forever. But right now, this is the new norm, right? Getting used to things being closed down, social distancing, people not really getting together for a while because of the virus spread of the it's so being so contagious. So for me, a person that loves to be sharing time with others and hanging out with friends and family, it's a tough transition. But I think those of us that are able to see it for what it is, which is basically what he gives an example here in discernment, is basically discernment for him is, I'll give you a quick example. So without a quick, what was it? Employer. Let's see. I'm trying to find the discernment point of view for him. So discernment basically that's what it is. Sorry about that, but discernment is basically seeing things for what they are, whether we like them or not. But it's just it is, as they say, what is at the moment. If everything is like what's kind of going on right now, everything's being changed at basically at every hour things are changing, right? New laws, new obviously new results, and people are getting sick, and the whole world itself is being shut down. Economies are going kind of broke. Stock market is crashing. A lot of things are going off, which what we felt like wouldn't happen. Right? We thought this was a lot of experts were talking about it for years, but we thought that it would happen this fast and in this matter, right? We thought it would be another way, maybe economy-wise, people, but it's just something that we cannot control, something that we can't see, something that's really, terrifying. To be honest, I would lie to you if I would say I'm not afraid of what's going on because the last thing you want is one of your individuals in your family, something to happen to them. But it's just something that we have to kind of pause and understand that how grateful and how precious life is and how what we have around us, the ones that we love and love us, how they can be taken away at any moment, obviously, and that anything that we have is not permanent. And this is, I think, a great time from what I listen to Wayne Dyer as well. Talks about you're not your job, you're not the money you have, you're not your title, whatever it is you have, you're not even the whatever it is you run out, whatever your looks, all that stuff you have, that is not yours. That's not who you are. You're obviously a lot bigger than that. You're something a lot more expansive. And I think this is going to force all of us to really understand that whatever norm we had, that we thought this is the norm, are being tested and learning that it was only a norm to us, but it really can be changed anytime, and we're seeing that right now. So before I keep on blabbing at that, discernment of something what it is, and obviously Pranja, which is what he talks about earlier. This was is the life without attachment, and and the stress can give you the freedom to see things as they are, and call them as you see them. And this is a skill I think that if all of us had this, there'd be a lot less stress, a lot more creativity, and a lot more less judgment, right? A lot of judgment. I also suffer from this as well. So we judge others for being different, for looking at things differently, for um, even living a different lifestyle than you. And if your freedom of having to have people live your lifestyle will be the way you are, if you have freedom to that, I think you have less stress because you're not worried about what others are doing. You're only worried about focus about on yourself. And since I've been doing this the last couple of months, the channel has been made. I've been making more videos. A lot more fears have been overcome because I've been focusing on my own fears, not on what other people are talking about, not on what people think about, not on what their fears are. Because as he says as well, we all have different worldviews, right? Everybody has being raised what I was raised at. In my views, are different from somebody being raised at a different, maybe country, a different part of the country, obviously, different community, different heritage, different background. So we all have our worldviews that come from different upbringings, but we cannot force our worldviews on others because we didn't have the upbringing they had, and we didn't have the experiences that they had. So this is something you learn, I guess, with age. For me, it's maturity. I would say my birthday was just a couple of days ago. Turning 35, I'll say it. I understand that this is something you learn. Sometimes we get bent and out of shape when people are not seeing what we see and not actually understanding it. But the stress to try to change their views is not worth the disagreement. We just let it be what it be. Let it is what it is. As I say, the big saying, as you always hearing that saying. But yeah, so going back to before this video goes crazy, but I really wanted to show how important this part of the book is to what's going on right now, right? Things are being flipped, lives are being changed. People are losing their jobs, are being laid off, and not because of any economic push. It's just because something that we are trying to combat, which is the virus, and trying to minimize the damage and the spread. So it's something that we weren't prepared for. A lot of people didn't plan for it. The economies didn't even see it coming. Economy was doing great. Nothing was wrong with the economy. There was no telltale signs of this thing coming up right now, but it just happened. So this kind of lets me know as well, in life, I've learned this the last year, but for all of those that are just learning that, anything can change at any given moment, right? And I always heard this from Wayne Dyer. He says, at any given moment, your life could change for the better, for the worse, whatever happens, whatever judgment you have of it. But at any given moment, it only takes one moment, right? One post, one blog, one tweet, one bad turn, and you get into an accident that you might end up, paralyzed for life, whatever it may be. But these are all things that at one moment everything can change. And this is a big proof right now that we need to kind of start really getting grounded and accepting of what's going on. Not fight it, not wish it was different, not go against it, but be a linchpin. Adapt. Let's see how we can make the best of it. Change the schedule if we have to. We're gonna spend a lot more time with our family. I got 3 of them, 3 kids, and we are in a household, and we are all here trying to make the best of it. So these are times we're going to be tested, but these are the times where most growth happens, right? Because we're in different environments than we're used to, and we're in a different environment than we are kind of taught that we had to be, right? People working from remote, and kids are learning from home. These are different environments, and parents are having to be forced to actually teach their kids, which I know is not easy, but parent for myself, but a lot of parents kind of ran away from that, and we're kind of forced to do that now. So look at the bright side. We are given more time, more freedom to do what we want to do, and if you wanted to be closer to your family, now it's the time. If you wanted to work on that, whatever it may be, side project that you had, now is the time. The time for excuses are gone because most of us are being paid to stay home. So what we do with it and how we learn from it and how we overcome this is totally up to us. The government can do much as they can, but it's only up to us. We're the ones that are in power, and we'll see that eventually. But other than that, stay safe. Stay tuned for my next video, and I'll see you guys